Okay, third time's the charm. I think my external one might be dying, which would be terrible news. But fingers crossed, guys. It's a beautiful day. It's so sunny outside that I had to close my curtains and turn on my inside lights like a true esports basement dweller nerd. And I've got a lot to do today, but I wanted to give you guys a channel update and an update on like what I'm doing and my plans for some of the projects that I have. Because man, it's been so long since we've sat down face to face, and it's just been you and me, baby, and we've talked. So I wanted to dim the lights and give you that sweet, sweet loving that you deserve. This is nothing that I'm going to be posting on like Screddit or Team Liquid or anything. This is just for the people who follow me on Twitter and who follow me on YouTube. People who I would love to say are my fans. I don't know if people out there consider themselves to be fans of me or of my work at this point. I think people do. It's tough. Like, that's the goal. And I don't want to get a big head or anything. I don't want to sound like I'm really cocky, like, oh yeah, I got fans all over. Like, no. But it would be cool if you did. Anyways, veering off topic. So, there's been a lot going on in the past couple months, and I wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed, particularly about Please Pause. I know Please Pause is a series that a lot of people started following me for. Like, that's why you guys got on the Cyan train at all, and that's what you look for from me. And I appreciate that a lot. And it's been a series that's been seriously neglected in the past like month and a half, I guess, maybe almost 2 months now, which is not good. And I keep going on Twitter and I keep saying, oh yeah, there's going to be a Please Pause this week, don't worry about it, there's going to be a Please Pause tomorrow, and there just hasn't. And that sucks. That's not good, and I apologize for that. I want to give you guys some insight into how I'm looking at things, what I'm doing, and what my goals are, and etc. and so on and so forth. There might be some stuff that is a bit of a rehash, so if that's the case, that's cool, you can just skip those bits. So let's talk about Please Pause. First up, I've actually been consulting with some people about Please Pause. I don't think I'm able to say who, but it's been really hard to keep in contact. It's really hard to, man, esports is really hard. Contacting people in esports is really hard. It seems like people are so busy maybe, and there's so much going on. It's hard to keep people in touch. So there were a couple weeks where I was waiting to hear back from some people. Nothing major, like there's no sponsorship deal in the works or anything like that. Just some advice. So that's a thing. That's been a thing. And now, today, I'm actually really happy. I'm able to announce that I actually had some graphics done. Cool dude, Cybert, he made some wicked Please Pause graphics. Let's give you, like, the reveal right now. As I'm saying things, well, not as a, right now, we're gonna throw it up there. And then it should be done. Wasn't that cool? That was awesome. So I'm gonna link Cybert's Twitter in the description. Really, really chill. Good working with him. So that's cool. I'm really excited about that. That's way better than anything that I had on the go. I had that shitty stock animation intro for a little while, and then I decided, no, that's too shitty. I'm just going to do stills, and that was pretty shitty too. And this fills out exactly. It's perfect. It's like a real news show, and it's not StarCraft specific, so when I do decide to start Please Pause for Overwatch, which is definitely going to be a thing, I can just use that. That's great. That's fucking awesome. Really excited for that. So that's really cool. The main reason why I haven't been doing Please Pause is because I didn't feel like it felt like it was treading water a lot. It didn't feel like it was giving me any growth as a personality. The series didn't really seem to be gaining any ground, and it makes sense. I understand why. The target audience for Please Pause, if you don't already know, is the casual fan base. It's the people who don't play StarCraft every day, or even every week. It's the people who don't check our StarCraft or Team Liquid every day or every week. It's the casual viewer base and the casual esports fan. Maybe even people who don't even necessarily watch StarCraft 2. And it's to bring those people up to date. The problem comes when you look at myself as like a personality and my brand and my reach. I don't have good reach because I'm new, I'm just starting out. And the only way that I was getting views was posting to our StarCraft. It might be a little different now because I did gain like 150 some odd subscribers, I think, from when I last posted Please Pause. But the only way I could get views for that series was posting to our StarCraft and Team Liquid, and people would filter through from there. The highest viewed Please Pause is something like 600 views, which is really good for me right now. That's like a good number of views for something that I do, I think. But it was only viewed that much because it was like a new Team Liquid thread that had the video there. So people just kind of saw it like that. It doesn't have a lot of hold. And I wouldn't expect it to, because the people who go to Team Liquid and the people who visit the news section of our StarCraft and decide what hits the front page and what doesn't, those people already know everything that happens on a week-to-week basis. They don't need a news summary StarCraft 2 show. There's no content there for them. So I wouldn't expect them to really love it or hate it or anything like that. Like the content in the videos for those people is when I talk my own personal opinions on the stories, which is really it's really hard to do that for every video, because sometimes in the course of a week there are too many stories. There are too many things happening. You have too many things happening in StarCraft. Well, that doesn't sound right. No, there are. And the goal is to keep the videos sub 5 minutes or as close to 5 minutes as possible. So I just can't give my opinion on everything. There's just not enough time. Second to that, I am not somebody who has enough notoriety in the scene or a respected opinion in the scene, and that's totally fine. I get that. I'm still super new. Most people still don't know who the hell I am. The vast majority of people. So it makes sense. So posting to our StarCraft and Team Liquid with Please Pause just it wasn't doing me a ton of favors, I didn't think. It was like very, very slow marginal growth. And at a point I decided, separate to that thought, but I decided to do a video interview series. And the goal initially was to talk to people in the grassroots scene, specifically the grassroots scene, because I felt like those were people who were really important in StarCraft, and they are. And they're people who we don't hear from a lot as fans, and they might not have the most respected opinions, but they're very knowledgeable, and they have a very different perspective. If you talk to somebody who runs a weekly amateur StarCraft tournament series, they'll have a very, very different perspective from Rotterdam on the state of StarCraft 2 and what needs to be done in StarCraft 2. So I thought that could be interesting. And I started the video interview series, and it was like very much I wanted to replicate Real Talk with JP. I thought that was a great series. And I like long content. I like it a lot. At that point, I'd only done 2 interviews. They were both text interviews. It was with Kellizer and Penguin. And Penguin was that week, actually. Penguin was like the day before I did my first video interview. So my first video interview was with Zombie Grub. It was very well received. It was like the first time I cracked like quad digit viewer numbers in months. And I was getting a little discouraged. But that was great. That felt great. People said they really liked me and my questions. But obviously the primary focus was with Zombie Grub. But that was great. And then I interviewed Joe from Nerd Street. And then I interviewed Fear Dragon. And Fear Dragon said something in his interview that kind of like struck a chord. He said, it's really hard to elevate other people when you don't have a platform. And he was referencing when he started out with the with Breaking Out, his series. But I kind of thought about what I was doing, what my goals were, and I kind of thought to myself, like, that's right. If I go and talk to, everybody who runs a weekly amateur StarCraft league, and they max out at like 20 viewers, like, that's not doing either of us a ton of favors right now, because I don't have a platform that's really able to raise anybody. I don't have any fandom. I don't have any solid, consistent viewership. I'm still building myself. You're still doing the same thing, obviously. It's like, I don't have a good analogy. I don't have a good analogy, I'm sorry. But I decided at that point that maybe it was better to steer my direction and to try and get some bigger names. And I reached out to a number of people, and I was really shocked to see how receptive people were and how on board people were. Some people, not everybody, you get ignored a lot. But I was really happy with that. So then I interviewed In Control, was my next big one, and that went really well. I think it was a really important time to hear from In Control too, because everything was happening with Good Game Agency and EG, and that provided like a headline. Cyan interviews Jeff In Control Robinson, uncertain future for EG, and that's like that little clickbaity thing, people will watch for that, so that's great. At the same time, I've been doing a lot of text-based work. I can call myself a freelance esports journalist now. That's super fucking cool. I didn't expect that at all. And I've done enough work now that I can really assuredly say, yep, I'm a freelance esports journalist. And it's not lucrative. It's not, I can't live on it, but it's fun, and I really like doing it. And I think it accomplishes something really important for me in my growth. It doesn't net me like a ton of fans or anything, but it adds substance to my name and my brand. I have, real insight now on a number of varying topics. I'm not a fan anymore. Like, I'm actually in the industry, which is cool. And some people might debate that a little bit and say, "Oh, you're not really in the industry. You're not working full time or anything." I don't know what you could say, and that's fine, and I understand. But I've had two pieces of like truly breaking news so far. My first one was with Overwatch. I broke an Overwatch story where Blizzard had brought people into the Blizzard headquarters, much the same way as the StarCraft 2 Community Summit. Well, they did the same thing with a number of personalities from Overwatch, and I was able to confirm one of those personalities and speculate further. And I was able to, find out what they were actually talking about at Blizzard. That was really cool. That was super exciting. And then last week there, I broke the news that Gravity was closing down, which is really unfortunate. And I know it's not huge news for a lot of people. A lot of people don't really know Gravity in 2016. Maybe they don't really care. They were smaller, definitely, but they were important. And I'm really, I was honored, I guess. I guess I'll say honored. It was a weird feeling to be able to, write the piece and write the piece on their website too. And I mean, everything, all the writing that was involved with that is me. And they actually reached out for me to do it as well. I had messaged the Beast, the CEO, and a ton of people on Twitter actually who were in, the back end of Gravity, because I saw on Team Liquid, it was like rumored Gravity is disbanding. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll look into that. And I just saw that, all their players were leaving. I saw a ton of their back-end people, like the staff, were changing their Twitter descriptions and their bios and everything like that. So I was like, oh, okay, Gravity's probably just shutting down. So I messaged a ton of people and like, hey, would you want to comment on that officially? And they were like, yeah, hey, want to talk to you, actually. And they're like, hey, would you like to help us, make this official announcement? And I was like, yeah, sure. Anyways, I won't dig too. So The point of all of the writing and the point of all of the interviews for me has not just been to produce good content for the scene. Oh, that's definitely part of it, because I see holes of content in the scene. There are people who used to do things. They're not there anymore. They're not doing it. So I can slip in there. The point for me has been to get to a point where I do have something worth listening to, and where my opinion is actually a little bit more knowledgeable than just a fan, because I'm not just a fan at this point. I do know things that I can't talk about, and that's so cool, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about that really seriously. I've never said that out loud, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. And hopefully I can continue to deliver that kind of content so that I can improve on that even more, and so that I can keep that ball rolling, because I do feel like I have momentum, and I do feel like good about where things are headed. And I hope that you guys do too, and I hope that you guys will continue following me and following my writing and following my videos and following my Twitter and blah blah blah. And another side of this coin with the popularity thing, memes. Memes are a real strategy for growth. They're fun. I like doing them. And not just the video memes, but like the image-based memes too. Image meming, going good. Video meming, going good. I'm really sad that the Member Berries video couldn't have been hosted on YouTube. I tried. Didn't work out. It's on VidMe, it's on Tumblr, and it's on Twitter. The nice thing about hosting on Twitter is that hopefully with the retweets, I'll get some followers. That would be nice. The sad thing about it not being on YouTube is that on VidMe it's like 14,000 views or something like that. It's like more than 10,000, and it's the most viewed StarCraft video. But that's not where any of my other content is, so it doesn't really give me anything on my YouTube content. But it's cool to have a VidMe. I'll just upload 2 sets of things, I guess. And talking about holes in the scene, guys, if you want to make some really easy karma, some really easy imaginary pointless internet points, and you're funny, just make some memes. This has been a little lengthy. Another aspect that I want to talk about is I'm thinking this is dangerous territory, right? Because people have been shat on really hard for talking about this and for trying to, which is so shameful. But I'm thinking about starting a Patreon. I'm thinking about accepting donations, because I do put in a lot of time. And one of the things with Please Pause is that it's tedious work. Well, Please Pause and the interviews. The interviews are a huge amount of work. And Please Pause is a lot of work, but not as much. But it's work that I don't make any money on. YouTube, AdSense, I have like $5 in my AdSense account. That's what I've made, $5. And it doesn't pay out until you hit 100. So I don't even consider that like a factor. That's literally nothing for me. I will probably won't ever see that money at this point. It'll be like a long time. I don't know, you know, if I can continue growing, then maybe that'll be a factor at some point. But right now I don't make any money from videos. And I would like to, at some point, start a Patreon and start taking donations. But it's really hard to figure out what that point is. Some people say, like, oh, just ask, you know, like right away, and then they'll get used to it. And some people say, like, oh, when people start asking you, how can I donate? How can I donate? Then you start one. And I really don't know, you know, like, I don't want to be shat on. I don't want to be hated in the StarCraft scene. I love our StarCraft. That's where 99% of my viewership comes. It's from our StarCraft. And I know that they hate a lot of people. Well, I know that portions of the community in our StarCraft hates a lot of people. And I know that a lot of people hate our StarCraft. It's like this reciprocating thing where somebody starts hating the other and then the other hates back, and it's like never-ending cycle. But I like our StarCraft. I've spent, you know, most of my internet time, well, when I check the internet for the past 4 years, I've always gone our StarCraft first, just to check the news. And I mean, I wouldn't have had access to Heart of the Swarm without our StarCraft, because somebody on our StarCraft had a contest, paid for that expansion for me. There's a number of things that I just think are great about that community, and there's a number of things that I don't think are very great about that community, but I don't want to start asking for money from people or making that an available thing until I'm confident that it won't be something that causes backlash. And until I'm confident that it won't be... When I'm confident that it's something that people actually want is when I'll start it, I guess, And to a certain degree, people will just hate on you no matter what. And I'm really fortunate to not see that at this point. I don't think I've done anything that's particularly hateable or controversial even. I have some opinions that are not... I have opinions. And sometimes that can be problematic. I don't think there's a real argument to be made against region locking StarCraft 2. Some people hate that. Some people think that's really dumb. Some people think that there's no argument to be made for region locking in StarCraft 2. But I think I make points for just being that's fine. That's your opinion, man. That's okay. We can talk it out. And I'm willing to talk it out. So I don't know. It's really tough. I would like to be our StarCraft's, not hated personality. That would be good. But anyways, now I'm just rambling. So let me know your thoughts on that. If you want to tweet at me, if you want to DM me on Twitter, if you want to DM me on Reddit, that'd be kind of weird, but you can do it. Just tell me what you think about me setting up a Patreon or a donation button. As this is all really new to me, and I want to do it the right way, and I don't want people to be mad. It's really important to me. So yeah. So things that you can look out for in the coming future. I'm not going to have any interviews this week, the week of September the 22nd. I probably won't have any interviews next week. It's just really busy. I have zero availability this weekend. Maybe we'll try and figure something out. Later today, you can expect a Please Pause. It'll probably be just after I upload this, to be perfectly honest. And at some point in the coming days, you can keep an eye out on my Twitter, and there will be an article about the TCM situation with Soulkey and a generalized look at the way the way that the foreign teams are viewed now by Koreans, and the Korean professionals and the Korean staff. I'm always looking for tips, guys. If you've got a dank esports tip, if you know something and you want it out there anonymously or otherwise, if you can DM me on Twitter and back up what you're saying, then I'll see what I can do. I'll look into it. If you guys want a particular topic talked about, I can look at doing a science corner about it. Just let me know. And I guess that's basically it. So, cheers. We're going to move into Overwatch content pretty soon. I think the time is right now to head back into Overwatch. It's going to be just before BlizzCon. A lot of the pre-release hype has died off. It's a bit better for content producers now because it's not a flood of everybody trying to make it big immediately on Overwatch. So we'll see how that goes. Think about it. And thank you all so much. If you've watched to the end of this video, man, props to you. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you coming along for this ride. I really want to make this a thing, I really do. Maybe that's sad, but I don't care. Follow your dreams, kids. Follow your goddamn dreams. And there are other projects that I'm thinking about, and I'll let you know at the right time. So, I love you. Bye.